Ah, yes, the heat is here. Summer is here. And I'm already tired of it. So why don't we go back, way back, a couple of months ago, and enjoy something a little bit cooler?
Oh, yes, you can call it R, but you can also call it Atlas. It is massive. It is huge. It is Volkswagen's beautiful, ice-worthy 2025 Atlas R-Line. And this is a trim level that we haven't seen before. And would you like to see it now? I think you should take a look at it because this may be the perfect vehicle for your wintertime escapades. Summer too, and spring. Not so sure about fall. Anyway, stay with us. Folks, I'll be honest with you. The substrate on which this 2025 Volkswagen Atlas is parked is slipperier than all get out. I mean, we are talking about a bit of snow, then got sleet put on it, and then it melted, and then it refroze, and now it's starting to melt again, so it is like beyond slippery. So as I walk around here, let us hope together I don't fall on my butt, because that would be bad for all of us. But here we go. Here is our 2025 Atlas, as mentioned, and this is the R-Line. And it is a new trim level that has got a real nice selection of equipment, but it still has those great Atlas attributes. And you see, I'm trying to walk on this ice, and it's, well, yep, we slid. Yep, there we go. But we still have our wonderful things. Like we do have a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4, it puts out 269 horsepower, and we have 273 foot-pounds of torque at 1600 RPM, by the way. That's more important in some ways. We also have an 8-speed automatic transmission. We have a 117-inch, can I walk over there? Can I try to give you a side shot here? What? Yeah, it. Well, over there, where the car is, we have I'm sliding. We have a 117-inch wheelbase and a curb weight of about 4,600 pounds. Now, the greatest thing about the Atlas is this width, this nice wide track, because that translates into absolutely magnificent interior room. And this being a standard 3-row SUV, you have a lot of room in that third row, surprisingly a lot. This particular model with this trim line has a second row that is captain's chairs, so it's not a maximum situation for your passenger capability. He's trying to walk. The crowd watches in anticipation as he tries to make it around. With that 117-inch wheelbase, which stretches things out, you have so much room in the second and third row. The third row in particular is perfectly usable for a couple of adults. And then there's all this cargo room, which I'll get into in a minute, that is just massive and wonderful. If you just want to haul stuff with this thing, not necessarily human beings, boy, are you set. Here we go, traction's better. We'll come around the back here. And as you can see, it's a nice squared off back end, and that's one of the reasons you have so much excellent room in that third row. We have all the kind of attributes you've grown to expect in this particular class of SUV. Of course, it's a mid-size, but it's really a full-size in some ways. I mean, anytime you can actually get a total of 7 people, this is a 7-passenger rig, 7-occupant rig, I should say. You're getting towards full-size territory as far as I'm concerned. But you have other SUV attributes. You have a really, really good 4Motion all-wheel drive system, which has been, to say the least, invaluable. Or is that same thing as valuable? Essential, actually. I don't think we could even get out of the driveway without it, the way the ice is right now. And this vehicle has really distinguished itself by handling the ice beautifully, really, really well. And you do have a special mode for snow and ice, and I haven't even been using it all the time, and it still gets around just fine. Very, very impressive wintertime vehicle. I would recommend it highly if you have a family that likes to go skiing, because it'll get you there and get you back. And you have plenty of room for all the stuff that you need for such an adventure. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to take a look under the bonnet with you, if I can get over there without busting something. And we'll see how this thing somehow gets around with a little 4-cylinder engine. 2 liters, not very big. Half the size of well, for example, this 4Runner sitting here. It's half the size of that engine. And yet it seems to do a very, very decent job for the most part. Although when you really load it down, I'm not so sure. And they say they can it'll tow 5,000 pounds. Wow, really? Okay, well, I don't have a 5,000 pound trailer hanging around right now, so I can't prove that, but that's what they claim. So, like I said, let's take a look under the bonnet and see what we got. Well, you look at here. It's down deep. It's down deep. We have to go down and look at it. Here is our sunken deep into the hood area, into the engine compartment, if you will, is our 2-liter turbocharged inline 4 transversely mounted power plant. We got that 1, 2, 3, 4. There's where your cylinders are right there, running from left to right as we stand. And as is common practice these days, your turbocharger is located right back yonder. I can't see either because of the sunlight. But it's very easy to get to the turbocharger, surprisingly so actually, and because this side of the engine block is where you have your exhaust manifold, and your intake side is right down there. So it's actually got a lot of space around it, which makes it look like it would be fairly easy to work on if you did need to get into that turbocharger for whatever reason. Even though it's by the firewall, there's a lot of room there. I've seen so many that are kind of shoehorned in there. But this looks like it's under a lot more, a situation where it has a lot more room. And over here, I'm going to walk around here without trying to give you the best camera shadow you will ever. Nobody has better camera shadows than I do. Oh, there we go. Oh. Here is our air intake right here. And this goes in directly into our turbocharger area. It gets turbocharged, then goes through a intercooler system, and ultimately ends up in the intake system, which is, it's called a TSI engine, which means turbo stratified injection. And their stratified injection is kind of unique to Volkswagen. Exactly what it is, what it does, I'm not entirely sure, but they claim it's different from the way everybody else does things in terms of fuel injection. And is it a gasoline direct injection? I believe it is. I'm trying to get more information about that because I'm fascinated whenever anybody's doing stuff different. That's where your interest is piqued. But it seems to be very fuel efficient. It's not the most powerful engine I've driven in these vehicles, without a doubt, even though the numbers are good. 269 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 273 foot-pounds at 1,600 RPM of your torques. So those are very healthy numbers, decent numbers. But this is a fairly heavy vehicle at 4,600 pounds as sitting here. And, you know, when you think about it, that's a real load you're talking about as far as going up, if you're going up grades and pulling that 5,000 pound trailer. I think you'd need something different for that, actually. But for most situations where this is functioning as a family vehicle, you could load it up pretty good and I think you'll be fine. And the one reward you'll get that is excellent right off the bat is you will get decent fuel economy, I believe. We'll find out at the end of the test if I did, but the EPS estimates are, hang on here, hang on. I'm working on your estimates. Up, there they are. Your overall estimate is 21 miles per gallon. So we got wind here too, but did I tell you that? We got wind, we got ice, we got frozen temperatures, we got camera shadows, we got everything, just for you. Incidentally, this engine does use 0W20 motor oil, which is great because that is very common, very easy to find, and so you won't have any trouble when oil filter and everything else needs to be changed and you need to replenish your fluids in the engine block. Well, at least the oil. No trouble finding that stuff. It's not any kind of an oddball situation. What else is interesting, we have this structure here, as you can see. This is all part of your reinforcements that are to help in the event of a collision, I do believe. But then we also have this little structure here to help stiffen up the whole front end, because when you have this huge space underneath here, you got to have something to reinforce it to help give the vehicle a nice solid feel, which it does have. It has a very solid feel, and it also has some very sure handling that I have discovered. I'm very impressed with it. It's a fun driver. It's a nice solid feel to it. So anyway, without further ado then, let's look at some of the other goodies on this exterior of our wonderful, ice-laden, cold weather approved Volkswagen Atlas R-Line. Holy guacamole, we have massive, beautiful, decorative 21-inch wheels on this vehicle. Our tire size is 265/45 R21. And these are very nice Bridgestone tires. They have handled the snow and ice very well. They don't look to me like they would necessarily be that good, but they've just worked out really well, especially on driving on this real icy crap that we've had to deal with. So boy, it really fills up the wheel well there, don't it? As you can see, you have very sizable brake rotors and brake calipers in there. And overall, it seems to have, it has a firm ride, no question about it, but it's not a nasty ride. It's just, you can feel a lot of the road irregularities, but I think a lot of that is just, it's designed to haul a lot of people and stuff, so the suspension has to be stiff enough. And the tires likewise have to be up to the task of hauling all that weight. Now then, I'm gonna try to, oh look, here's some dry stuff. Oh wow, look at there. God, the amazing feeling of being able to have traction so you don't fall down. 117-inch wheelbase, like I mentioned before, and you can really get a good gander here at the squared off back of this thing that makes it so useful in terms of cargo area, because you have that nice tall rear end on it. It's no fastback situation, but it does have a very attractive spoiler, as you can see at the top of it. And inside here, whee, look at that, electric. Here we have our 3-row. Right now we have all our seats deployed in the position for human beings. And here's my specs right here. And you got 20.6 cubic feet of space with right here with the seat in the upright position. And if you fold those down, then it raises to 55.5 cubic feet. And ultimately, if you fold both the second and third rows, you get 96.6 cubic feet of space. Let's put one of these down here. Whee! Look at there, look at all that space. I mean, come on. Room for your butt and all the stuff you got, or something like that. That's a bastardization of an old expression. Where is the, oh, there it is. God, I can't see. I'm snowblind. Here we have a nice subwoofer for our sound system, which is heavily fortified for your pleasure and enjoyment. There's your jack, and beneath here you will find a nice temporary spare tire. Very easy to get to in the event that you don't have this thing too heavily laden with cargo. But it's a very, very roomy environment, both for people and for cargo. I recommend this highly if you're a person seeking space. And as you can probably tell by looking at it, more than anything else, it's the width that gives this thing so much usable space. Very well designed by Volkswagen. They did a great job with this. And so there we have it. It's so hard for me to see here. I have no idea if the framing's right. Oh, look, there's pedestrians. But again, for a wintertime activity person and their family, this is such a good choice because of all this space and its great capability in the snow, which you're going to get to see very shortly. But first, let us examine the interior.
Well, Atlas. Yeah, that's right. Atlas, we have our interesting and unusual degree of touchscreen interface problems for me with this vehicle, just because there is so much that the controls are based on touchscreen, which is this guy right here, which we'll get to in just a minute. But here's our instrument cluster, which I have no truck with, and it's a fun instrument cluster in that the way it's set up at the moment, and I don't know if there's much we can do about that. This is each side of the cluster, by the way. There's that one, and then there's that one. You can put what you want there, provided that it's on this menu. And the menu, as we go up and down, navigation, audio, telephone, speed, time, acceleration, compass, destination info if you're navigating, and then settings. Now, what are settings telling us? Economy, distance and time, average speed, 4 gear display, fuel tank disp. Oh, what is that? Fuel tank disp. Oh, display. I got you. Disp. Assist systems, temperatures, navigation, audio, etc. So what you ultimately have is a system whereas you can customize what you want to do on those parameters on either side, which is nice. Now, what's so much fun to me is our mode button, which is kind of hard to find initially. But here on Eco, we go into this blue setting, and then we go Comfort. And Comfort is also kind of a blue setting. But Sport, red everything. And it also changes the interface in here. Look at here. See? All our settings there are now color-coded to tell you that you're in sport mode. Figure that one out, folks. All right, and then we go to Custom, which is kind of a yellow color, jaundice, I would say. Again, look at here. It all turns yellow in here to correspond with the setting that the mode is at that time. Off-road. Ooh, look, there's mud on the vehicle now, and we have like this greenish, not really green, not really yellow, something in between, but that's what everything goes to when you select that driving mode. And when we go here, snow, how appropriate. You know, I haven't even been using that. I need to use that more because this thing does so well in the snow. The 4Motion is outstanding. But it's blue. Oh, burr. It's a darker blue than I would say the the Comfort is. Let's see. Yeah, that's light blue. And then if we go to snow, it's dark blue. There you go. We'll leave it on snow for now because we're in snow, as you can see. It's like a veritable it's actually ice. That's basically frozen and refrozen snow and ice, and it's really nasty. All right, now our steering wheel, our controls for this. Here on our left side is what I'd like to call our cruise control array. Now, what I didn't realize when I was driving this vehicle initially was that there are 2 switches for your adaptive cruise control. One is a general switch that just turns the entire cruise control system on and off, and the other is, for lack of a better term, the mode switch, where you can go from adaptive cruise control or travel assist, which is Volkswagen's version of I'll drive the car for you, because it has a steering component in there to try to steer you in the lanes, you see, keep them in the middle of the lane, as it were. So you got all that. All this is our area. Here is where we adjust our following distance, and this is plus and minus on our speed, and the resume button. There is no clear cancel button, but you can just turn off if you have to, or just hit the brakes. Down here is a volume control for our stereo, and so much of the rest of this kind of thing is over on this side, where we have our select our favorites in terms of our stereo right there. And then this is what I was using a minute ago to change the interface up there on the instrument cluster. And what else do we have? Oh, hidden stealthily back here are our paddle shifters. And the paddle shifters are great because they can allow you to not only, well, what happens initially when you go into the sport mode, you're ready to rock. I mean, it does change as far as how long it'll hold the RPMs in various gears. But the thing that's so interesting to me about it is how the RPMs and everything else are held longer when you're in automatic mode, but it's so conducive to just jump right in your sport mode. Because with the paddles, it just works really quickly and really nicely. It's almost like a direct shift, but it's not. And you have a total of 8 speeds in your transmission. And when you want to deactivate your paddles and go back to regular drive, this is also the off switch. This is gear up and this is gear down. So there we have, on our right side, we have an array of controls for our windshield wipers. And like I said, I've had this problem the entire time I've had the car. Is there's some ice that's kind of locked in there, so that's as far down as the windshield wipers are going at the moment. But I think if I can eventually break all the ice away, they'll fold completely down into the cowl the way that they normally do. So there's that. Over on this side right here, you have a few controls here. You have your super rear defroster, and you have your front defroster, which I just turned off and on. Max, they call it. And what else do we have here? Our lighting situation is right here. So you can determine what type of, if you're just going to leave it on automatic like most people do. Or you have, let me open the window here. You have a little bit more of the only other choice you really have is whether or not you want your fog lights on, which is this guy right here. You see? And one of the weirdest things about this is when your headlights do come on, usually there is an indicator in the instrument cluster to tell you that your headlights are on. It's down here. It illuminates down here to tell you your headlights are on, which it's kind of hard to see, to be honest with you, and I can't figure that out. But anyway, here's our ventilation. You got your upper and your lower. That's kind of nice. Really good defrosters on this vehicle, by the way. This is such a good winter car, I have discovered, primarily because it handles snow so well. But just a lot of other things about it are very, very good in terms of how it deals with winter. So it is recommended for that. And you also have a decent amount of ground clearance to get you over through these snow berms and things. All right, we drop down here. What do we have? Here's our assists that will indicate various types of, right now we have whether or not the lane keeping system is active. It's turned off, but it does activate if you use the travel assist in the cruise control mode, just so you know. But it's got the usual array of way over the top warning systems and other things, and it brakes itself if you're about to slam into a car in front of you, all that good stuff. Over here, here's how we access our climate system, which has turned out to be a little bit bizarre in that the rear, since from time to time seems to do whatever it wants to, it just kind of pops up. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but I think in general it's just trying to keep the cabin at, I have it set on auto now, so it's keeping the second row at 68 degrees also. And incidentally, in addition to heating, you got to go through 2 steps. If you want to get to the heaters, the seat heaters, you press here, and then you press here. And that turns on the seat heat. Ditto for the, there we go, turn that off. And ditto for the ventilation. And ventilation works terrific, by the way. Both of them do. It's just why 2 steps, 3 steps, actually. If you include having to look at the touchscreen itself, which I don't understand. Here's our volume control, incidentally, for your radio, and our on-off switch for radio. Tuning is a complete touchscreen affair that you're going to have to wrestle with to find your way around. It's just the way it is. I don't know why so many manufacturers are doing this now instead of just putting some knobs on there. But, you know, I think they're going on the philosophy that once you own the car, you'll put in your favorites. You're going to be basically in the same place all the time. You're going to, I assume they think most people are going to have a satellite radio subscription, which I don't know what the numbers are in that. I've got it in my vehicle, and boy, is it expensive. It's like really expensive. There's only one company that, after they promised the 2 companies would never merge, Congress just let them break their own, what they had already promised to do, and now we only have one company. But I've discovered if you have to renew your satellite subscription, call them and deal with them, because they will try to keep you. And they'll give you a deal that's usually a hell of a lot better than what you paid the year before. just it's a pain. It's a complete pain, and you have no choice because there's one company doing it. So here we have our USB-Cs right there, and here we have our charger, our QI charger for wireless, for the wireless activity. See, there it is, being wireless. Now here is our engine start-stop button. Instead of being up here, or any of the places that you normally associate it with, there it is. This is your park when you're putting it in park, and here's your shifter, this little nub. The first time I ever encountered it was, I believe, on a Volkswagen Golf. Now it has spread to the Atlas. I don't remember the last Atlas actually having this, but it does. This one have this. And here's your park brake. So we don't have a central differential lock for our all-wheel drive system. However, the 4Motion system seems to be really, really well outfitted in terms of how it goes about giving you traction where you need it most. And it's been very, very good in terms of the, well, ice is probably the toughest thing you have to deal with, especially when you have what we call a split muse situation, where, say, the left side of the road is actually nice and dry and paved and cool and wonderful, and the right side may have ice on it. So it's not going to throw you into a spin necessarily when you accelerate, because the traction control systems on the 4Motion will keep you on the straight and level. So that's pretty damn good, actually. Here we have our, as you can see, there's our ventilated seats right there. And oh, wow. There was actually, oh, that's mine. I thought there was an ice scraper in this car. Usually they come with them, but this one didn't have one. And that's mine. So that's where they came. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, you can see the perforations, and they are, in fact, providing the wonderful ventilation that I was bragging about earlier, because it does work great. And you can hear all the heat going on. It's really cold outside, folks. So as I sit and talk to you, I opted not to freeze to death. But what kind of upholstery do we have? Well, we have we have a leather wrap steering wheel, of course, and then we have I think it's it's R-line. We have R-line badging all over the place. I don't see it, but it's here. I just sense it. And incidentally, when I initially saw it, that this was an R-Line, which is a brand new trim from Volkswagen, there's nothing technical involved with it. What would you like to do? Cancel.
Pardon?
Cancel.
You can operate the radio.
Cancel.
Cancel.
Oh God! See what I have to deal with? I'm telling you, it's AI. It's taking over. What else do I have to show you in the front seat? Well, we have an enormous panoramic roof right here, which is fantastic. It's really big, and the sunroof aspect. I won't open it because it's frightening. But here, and I don't even know if you can tell you the truth. But you can do this. You can, I say again, you can do the, okay, it's closed. All right, good. So this is the, here, I'm working away here. There we go. It just opened itself a little bit. There we go. Neat, huh? Woo! I'm letting the Arctic in. That is one sizable sunroof right there. Excellent for those who want to photograph, like if you want to run next to giraffes and you want to photograph them, that works out really well. So that's that, and this should be the shade over here. There we go. And here comes our shade. So this is one of the nicest panorama systems I've ever seen on a car. And there we go. Nice, huh? I'm going to open that up actually because we need the light in here, but great vehicle in terms of its panorama. And you can also tell the trim is pretty nice on this. It's kind of understated. At the same time, it doesn't look like it's overly sporty either. I mean, a lot of these trim systems, when you hear the word R, it doesn't mean R like a pirate thing. It usually implies some sort of high performance thing. This really doesn't scream that. This screams actually nice, sophisticated, that sort of thing. So, okay, now when we go down in here, we have our mask, and we have another USB-C port, and it's fairly deep and commodious, this particular console, and a very roomy as well. Our glove box is excellent. I have no quarrel with that. That works really well. So now we're going into the room with a view, and that's just the second seat, the second row. And then we're going to the third row because this is all about space, folks. Whee! A nice big rear wheel. God, it's hard to walk on this stuff. Almost 90 degrees and open, but look at the size of the door opening. It's fantastic. We have our little captain's chairs in there for your little captains and your big ones. And we also have window shades, which we love. And how far down will this window go? 100%. Fast too. And up here we have our map lights. Huh? Nice. Now, tons of leg room, and you have the ability, I believe, hang on there, hang on, are you there, are you with me there? I thought we could slide this back. Yep. There's forward, and there's back. It's all right back right now. I'm gonna go in the mid range there to facilitate some third row visitation. But as you can see, here's our extremely loud I can't seem to, it's overridden by the front. Well, fine. Go ahead and heat up the rear. We have heated seats here. How nice is that? Oh, auto. That's what I want that on. And you also can actually separate your lower and upper draft allowance area, also known as a vent, which goes up and down. Depending on where you want your, if your feet are colder, you can head further that way if you want. But I do love the fact that it has heated seats, because in this is a winter vehicle. I'm telling you, you take this to the ski area, because it's really got plenty of room for passengers with their big ski wear on, you know, the big boots, everything. The tunnel, the drive shaft tunnel, is almost non-existent, which is great. You have two USB-C ports and a 115 volt, power access thing. So that's all good. We don't have a center console. We have an excellent Tom Ben backpack. By the way, you should get a Tom Ben backpack if you need a backpack. There are no better. I tell you what, I've been dealing with this company since the 90s, and I love them to death. I still have my original 90s. It's called a brain bag. It's huge, and I put my laptop in it when I travel, and bulletproof. It's so good. Little plug for those guys. I love them. So here we have aisle access to our third row. And incidentally, can you recline this seat? You Sure can. Recline and slide. Whatever you'd like to do in your second row on your captain's chair situation, you can do that. Here we go. Now, I have moved the seat into like a midships position, so there is plenty of room for an adult in this third row. And you can read if you want to, because you got your map lights right there. What do we have over here? We have small cup holders. They're smaller than usual. You know why? For the children. You put the children in the back here. Although, like I say, 2 adults can fit back here just fine. It's not, you're on most of these vehicles, the third row, the floor is high in relation to the seat cushions so that your knees are kind of bent up. This has that to a very small extent, but it's not near as bad as a lot of vehicles. And overall, you have very, very good room. You have great headroom for a third row. It's excellent. And all the way back here, you still have some cargo room behind you. So again, the Atlas is all about space. It's all about having plenty of room for everything you need to do with your family. And I think more than anything else, the width of this vehicle, the way they've designed it such that it's a very square cabin, but they've done it in such a way so it doesn't look too boxy, and at the same time you have so much room because of the fact that it is a big box. And wheel at every corner type situation. I don't know what the ride would be like back here. It's probably a little firm, but I can't tell you that because I haven't ridden back here, and I'm not going to during my duration with the vehicle. But overall, I think if you have a family and you do need 3 rows, this is a real good way to go. Now, whether or not, I don't think in the R-Line you can get a bench seat. I'll try to find out, because a bench seat in this second row would be great if you're really, you got a lot of kids. But if you're in a situation where 6 passengers or 7 in a pinch is the way you're going, all told, I mean, that includes the driver, by the way. This is a good way to go because this aisle access to the third row is almost like a minivan. It's so much easier to deal with than having to fold one of the seats or something like that. And we do have armrests, by the way, for your captain's chairs. I forgot that. We do have that. And we don't have an armrest back here, but we do have 50-50 increments here. And then, of course, you can slide and what do we do? What happens if we pull the red thing? That's what happens. So you got these seats here that are going to impede your cargo area a little bit, except I think they might fold up. I don't know. No, I don't think they do. Well, I'll have to wrestle with it and see what we can do. Can you pull them out if you need to? Most of these vehicles, if you want to pull the seat out in the second row, you can, but it can be extremely involved. And some vehicles you can't. They just don't let you do that. So if I come up here, it's locked like that, and we're back in position. So I would say overall, with the cargo room you have behind the second row, you got a great situation here. Oh, my coffee cup spilled earlier. I feel bad about that. Not bad enough to clean it up right away, but anyway, so this is the inside of the Atlas. There are few SUVs out there that are this good in terms of overall space utilization for its size. So there. Well, here we go. This is 4Motion. We are in ice, folks. This is like nasty, nasty ice with snow on top of it, and then a little more ice, and then a little water. I tell you, it's just complete chaos here. Oh my goodness gosh. I tell you, the defrosters are ablazing. Debris are debrising. They're littering my path with debris being debris. That's what debris does. And power company trucks are whizzing by. It's amazing. It's amazing what a little wind will do. This is, believe it or not, the power problems are really not stemming from all this ice, because we didn't get that big a coating of ice. What you're seeing is melted snow that refroze, and then we got rain, and then that froze. That's what you're seeing there. All right, well done. So I've driven in a few places where there was nothing but ice, and this thing did real well. A huge measure of that, of course, is the tires, and the standard tires on this are very well suited to this. I'm impressed. Oh boy, more debris. Every time I turn around, there's more. But the power company is out hard at work in this. We have gusts up to about 45 is what they're saying. Right around our house where we live, we're kind of shielded by the forest, so we usually don't get gusts stronger than maybe 30 right around the house. Up on the roof, I ain't been up there when it's like this. Woo, I'd be blown off. But a couple of things about this, I didn't even have, you know, we have modes, and look at here. I was in the comfort mode. I wasn't even in the snow mode. How about that, huh? It did real well in the normal 4Motion driving mode in what I would consider severe ice. So something to think about if you're going to buy this and you live in a place where it snows. This vehicle's been very competent, very competent. I give it top marks for its ability to navigate through icy conditions, which, as we all know, in a lot of ways, are a lot worse than snow conditions. Ice is one thing, but excuse me, snow is one thing, but ice is the devil's substrate. It's just awful. Hate it. Hate it. You know, I years ago, I was doing a motorcycle store. I was touring on a big BMW LT tour bike. No, it was an RT, sorry. And I went up a mountain pass, you see, I think I was down in the Carolinas somewhere. And man, it started snowing and started getting icy, and all I had is a little wheel track to stay on and no place to stop. And the first place I did have a stop exit, I plummeted down that thing. Here we go, all 4 cylinders. This thing does not feel like a powerhouse. It feels adequate. This turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, really small engine, but it never, in my opinion, whoa, good, I wanted to get rid of that. There were no cars behind me. That's what you gotta watch. Up, there goes the rest of it. Ah, good. Things are going well for this car right now. It's doing great. It's doing such a good job. I'm very happy with it. And we'll put on our cruise control right now, and it's working fine. I had a problem earlier with the cruise control that you never saw because I had an audio problem. Consider yourself lucky. But I initially thought that for some reason the cruise control would not activate, and it wouldn't activate, I was assuming, because the front sensor for the adaptive cruise control, the LiDAR or radar or whatever it is, was covered with ice and therefore couldn't function. But that's not what it was. It was the operator, because we do have 2 switches here, as I have or will allude to when I go through the interior of this thing, which I've already not done. But anyway, one's just a pure on-off for your cruise control, and the other's the mode. And I was pressing the mode button, and I had not activated the actual cruise control. Kind of dumb on my part. I'm trying to lower speed here. It keeps going higher. What the? Oh, because I'm doing the wrong thing. How's that? God, what an idiot. All right, I'm trying to figure all this out. Hang on. So anyway, all that happened, and it was just pure operator error. It was nobody else's fault. Do this and do that. Travel assist is selected. Yeah, okay. How come I can't? Oh, I know why. I know why. I know why. We're at 66 and I want to go down. There we go. Again, this is just pure confusion on my part with the controls, and that's the average person will probably do a little better than I would, because they're not coming out of two different vehicles just before this that use completely different cruise control interface in terms of where buttons are, what they do, that kind of thing. So once you get used to it, you'll probably be just fine, just fine. Now we have our map up. There we go, 3D map, color. I don't know if it's tied into Gurgle, but I hope not, because Google doesn't understand that there is no such thing as the Gulf of America. There is no such thing. Will we survive all this, America? I don't know. It's up to you. I've done as much as I could do at this point. I have to go get a law degree if I want to do anything more. But anyway, enough of that. I love the map on this. Isn't that nice? Can you see that clearly? It is beautiful. Oh, it's one of those cars. I forgot. Volkswagens do this. They respond to hand gestures, whether or not I have it turned on or not. I think it must be turned on, because there's got to be a way to turn that off if you don't want to use it, and I haven't found it yet. There are so many submenus. I mean, consider this. I'm always complaining about the fact that manufacturers are moving more and more controls off from around here and buttons and things to the touchscreen. And here's a perfect example of that. Most cars you drive, when it comes time for you to activate your heated seats, there's usually a dedicated switch for that, usually. But on this car, you have to go through two menus. You have to hit this. I've gone through this before, but I'm going to continue, and then you got to hit that. Boom. Now we have seats that are heated. But otherwise, that's what you got to deal with. You got to go through two menus. You got to take your eyes off the road. Like on our RAV4 hybrid, it just has a toggle switch, and there's a high and a low, and you can do all this without ever looking at it, easily, fast. And there's no, there's no two steps, one step, boom, back, off, on, low, high. I don't think it, it's in low and high, if I remember right. I don't know, my wife never lets me drive that car. She's gone in it all the time. But I think that's a perfect example of an area that should be left to a dedicated switch, as opposed to using the touch screen to do everything. Now, see, we're twitching around here because I have it on pilot assist, or whatever it's called. Travel assist, that's what. Pilot assist is Volvo. Travel assist is Volkswagen, and that includes adaptive cruise, keeping the distance between the vehicle in front of you at the distance you set it at, and steering. Now I have my hand loosely on the wheel here, and I'm letting it steer itself, and it seems to be doing a pretty good job without getting too weavy. Some of these will make you seasick when they're trying desperately to steer into a lane. This one's doing all right. I have no complaints at how it's doing. It's doing okay. Now, I shall now stop manually, else it'll just blow right through the stop sign. And there we are. Now, the suspension on this, even though I haven't set it on the comfort setting, is firm enough that you don't get a whole lot of nosedive when you brake, which is great. It also seems to handle fairly well, but there are times it does feel a little on the soft side, and I'm not real sure until I get underneath that rear suspension and have a look, which is going to be fun in all this ice, as to whether or not the shock absorbers are actually one of the parameters that it adjusts. Now, in our modes here, custom, it looks like, wow, it looks like it's sort of in a winter mode there.
whoever last was driving this, what's wrong with this? I don't know why it's doing that. Why did it suddenly go, oh, I know why it went yellow. Whoever was driving this car and set up the custom side of it decided this ought to be this lemon yellow color. Okay, you're a crazy person. That's all right. Now, if I go to comfort, everything will go back to normal, I believe. We'll do that. And there we are. It's back to blue. So that's part of the custom feature. If you customize your mode, your drive mode, that's one of the things that'll happen, which is unusual, actually. But there you go. That's what it does. And let's go back to our map. Now, how do we do that? Oh, we go back to navigation and back to map, and there we are. Isn't that a beautiful map? There's the Wyndham Airport. It's right over here. It's right here. And you can see it. I'm surprised we have little airplanes flying around here. That's good. Watch it. At a time, they're starting to integrate a onboard navigation system which has internal mapping usually through an SD card. Then you have like Google or whatever. I think it's mainly just Google that has a thing that will tell you the latest traffic and kind of an upgrade to the maps and that sort of thing. So it's following you too. And there's only a matter of time before you'll be incorporating cameras on board the car and cameras probably on satellites or something that are all going to blend together to give you a more and more up-to-date, accurate map according to them. And that's going to be really interesting when that happens. And all these things are being thrown at these vehicles so fast. That'll probably involve some kind of artificial intelligence. And all artificial intelligence is it's a program's ability to access other programs and incorporate a bunch of different programs into the program that is running everything. That's basically all it's not people, there's no thinking involved and there's no intelligence involved. If you go way back, a lot of these people with their variable valve timing, and this is years ago, this is before AI became a thing, really. But it was called, I think Toyota had a system that was valve timing with intelligence. And it's not thinking, folks. It's just measuring different things. It's a much more advanced type of algorithm. And an algorithm that can talk to other algorithms. And they have algorithm parties. And they all talk to each other. Hi, how are you? That sort of thing. Which is always interesting. It only sounds like a four-cylinder when you really get on the gas. The rest of the time, it's really nice and quiet. And it seems, as far as vibration goes, it's very smooth. Wow, there's another Atlas. They're just thick as thieves here. Okay, we're going to go into this little shopping center here and do little shopping center things. Very briefly. Woo, whoa. That was crazy whatever in the parking lot. I don't know what was wrong with that. That's, well, that's a bit of what I would describe as unruliness in the suspension. Is this a dagger I see before me? No. Actually, it's the rear suspension on our Atlas R-Line. And as you can see, it looks like every other Atlas pretty much. You will see no elliptical leaf rear spring. You will see no multi-stage airbag. You will see no torsion beam. What you will see is something very conventional, a wonderful A-arm arrangement that looks actually very well finished. Here's our lower arm here, and there's our friend the coil spring. There we go. And here is our outboard mounted shock absorber.
And there's our drive shaft. Right there, right there. Yeah, I like how black and beautiful everything is, because it looks like there's a degree of rust preventative going in there with a very, very good you know, a lot of these vehicles that rust, they wouldn't rust as much if they had a very nice finish on. And it looks like what we have here on our Atlas. And there is our, right there is our differential, which is got these vanes on it here to help keep the fluid cool. And where, oh, where is our drive shaft? Well, I think, device, come on, device. If only you were a device, there we go. I think it's right up in there, yep. Yep, there's our device. I mean, there's our, there we go. I believe, here's our, I think that's our fuel tank right here. And somewhere up in there is a drive shaft. I could crawl underneath here. It's about 16 degrees outside, so where are you? Where are you? See if I can find you. Well, I tell you, nothing wants to work when it's this cold, especially me. There we go. So somewhere up in here is a drive shaft. And the solenoid you see at the this electrical part right in here is where we are shifting on and off our rear drivetrain when needed. As yeah, I can see the drive shaft now very clearly. So from an underside perspective, you have a front leading link over here, and then you have this little shield here, which is nice. But here's your I don't have the vehicle mounted as high up as usual. There's our leading link right there. So everything is located very, very precisely on the back of this rear suspension. As usual, it has a subframe that is mounted to the unibody. And it all looks like it's pretty stout. It's all made of metal. I see no aluminum bits. But we do have our little shield on the bottom so it can slide over rocks, I guess. I've always wondered about how much utility those really have, but there you go. Now, one of the more interesting aspects of this front suspension is a rear, rear. Which side of the car is that? Oh, way down there? That's your front suspension up there. And these are all our various, we have all our accoutrements that are attached to the bottom of the vehicle up there, as you can see, all designed to streamline things. I wish this thing was working better. I'm sorry. There we go. All designed to aid the aerodynamics on the underside of the chassis, because when you have more ground clearance like this, it creates more drag, which will slow you down and also give you poorer mileage. So they do try to tuck things in and cover things up where feasible. But here, what I was talking about a minute ago is this huge girder right here that's your front link on the suspension. So it's very, very well located, and it looks like it could take some punishment if you do venture off-road with this vehicle. It's pretty well made. I think you could still, if you're going to do some serious off-roading, you'd need something with the body-on-frame construction and a little bit more reinforcement. But overall, it looks like a very stout setup. And it does ride firm but comfortably. It looks plenty strong enough to hold all that cargo and personnel and everything else you can get in that incredibly roomy interior. So that is the way that is. Like I say, they claim it can tow 5,000 pounds. Look at there. There's your hitch receiver right there at the ready. So yeah, it's it's outfitted to tow. I have my doubts just about if you had a lot of stuff in it, like 3 or 4 people and a 5,000 pound trailer. I don't know if this engine's up to that, but it's warranted to do so. Look at it that way. Whenever somebody claims, gives you a towing capacity, that's what you can drive it, and it is warranted to do that. In other words, if you had some kind of a drivetrain failure and you weren't overloading things, they'll cover you. But what it ultimately shows you is that they believe that it's quite safe and quite possible to tow that kind of weight with this vehicle. So I believe them. It's not a light vehicle, that's for sure. In terms of stability, it's a big, heavy thing, because it's a big old heavy SUV. So there you go. And this is our, of course, our line, which is, I think, pretty much identical to all the other trim lines. There's no suspension modification that I'm aware of with this particular trim line. You just have a very, very comfortable interior and a lot of nice accessories.
Welly well. Did you enjoy that little trip back to February? I hope so. It's going to be hotter than all get out before you know it. Anyway, our 2025 Volkswagen Atlas SEL Premium R-Line with 4Motion all-wheel drive has a base price of $53,205, and with various knickknacks attached, it comes to $55,325. A very, very big, roomy machine this thing is. And if you have a family and you have all kinds of third row needs, then this is a very, very good choice for you. It is not the most powerful, but it's reasonably economical. We got about 20.2 miles per gallon overall for our tenure with the vehicle. So, all in all, a very, very nice executed machine, and I enjoyed driving it, and I think it's worth a look if you need a good family transport wagon. And with that, I will wish you a good day. We'll see you next time, and be careful out there.
The tube tells you, you dress like the tube, you eat like the tube, you raise your children like the tube, you even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.